Hey boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about how to divide with a two-digit divisor. Remember, the divisor is what you're dividing by. So we're going to be in your Module 1 through 9 book, and we're going to begin on page 55. So I want you guys to turn and follow along with me in your book. We'll do this work together. From that, it's in your Module 1 through 9 book, page 55. Alright, I'm going to try and write really dark so you can see. Okay, so first it says, I can use strategies based on place value to divide 3 and 4 digit dividends by 2-digit dividers. Remember, the dividend is what is being divided. The divisor is what you're dividing by, and the quotient is your answer. Okay, when you divide, your answer to a division problem. All right, so let's look at this together and go through it. It says Lana makes clothes for her online store. She makes 19 shirts from a large roll of fabric. Each roll has 610 inches of fabric. How many inches of fabric from the roll does she use for each shirt? Okay? So let's think about what it said again. She makes 19 shirts from that 610 inches of fabric. So we're wanting to know how much for each shirt. Remember, we talked about each. Just one shirt. We know what she did for 19 shirts. We want to know what just one shirt is. So first we're going to write a division problem to represent that situation. And it says estimate the answer. So right here it has 610 divided by 19. So that's important for you guys to understand too. This problem is not saying 19 divided by 610. It's saying 610 divided by 19. Okay, so that would be our division problem that we're writing. And then if we were to do an estimate, if we were to kind of make a guess. Now dividing is a little different when you're doing that in your head. So if I have 600 and I would normally divide or round that 19 to 20, but I don't know if I can really do that in my head very well. But if you had 600 divided by 10, I know that's 60. Well, I know that I'm dividing it by almost double that, so about 30 would be a good estimate because we would have half of that amount. Okay, so I'm going to keep that in my mind. All right, so then here where it says B, C, and D, or B and C mainly, that is just it talking you through the steps of dividing. So first we're going to divide those 10s and share them equally among the 19 groups. So if we're looking here at our number, we have 610 divided by 19. So just like we did with one-digit divisors, we're going to say how many times, and I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little bit bigger and darker for y'all. Yeah, that's better. I'm going to have to make a prediction here because I don't know. I don't have my 19s memorized. I have no idea. But I can use my estimating to help me, okay? If this was 20 would go into 60, 20, 40, 60, 3 times. So I'm going to estimate 19 times 3, and I'm just going to work it out up here, out of the way. I know 3 times 9 is 27, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, 57. I know that 19 wouldn't be able to go into 61 4 times because I know that would be way bigger than 61 if 19 times 3 is 57. So another thing to make sure we're doing, 19 went into 61 3 times. 61 3 times. So my 3 goes over that 1 because we're representing where it went. Because 3 times 19 is 57. Then I'm going to subtract. Well, I know that's 4. 58, 59, 60, 61. After I subtract, bring it on down, bring it on back. Again, I know 19 is close to 20. I know 20 times 2 is 40. So 19 is going to go into 40 2 times. But I'm going to come up here because I don't know right off what 19 times 2 is. 9 times 2 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. That's 38. 2 times 19 gives me my 38. I subtract. There's nothing left to bring down. So I know my answer is 32, remainder 2. Now, when we were talking about our estimate, we estimated about 30. So that is good. Whoop, there we go. This is close to our estimate. But another way we're going to know if we're right is to check by multiplying. So over here, right where I've got some room, 32 times 19. And we're going to practice those skills we did last week with multiplying. 9 times 2 is 18. And guys, you'll notice that you're doing the same work that you already did when you were dividing. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. I'm done with my ones. Done with this one that I carried up here. Now I'm moving over to my tens place. So I'm going to represent that because really I'm saying 10 times 2 is 20. And this is really 10 times 30, and that's going to give you that 300. So 8, 10, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get 608. But don't forget, I had 2 for a remainder, so I'm going to add that in. And that does give me my 610 that I began with. So my answer does check out right when I get finished. Okay? All right, so let's keep moving. Let's move to page 56. All right, Lana's shirts are a hit. We're still talking about Lana and her shirts. Fab Fashion is a company with stores across the country as shown. The company orders 1,200 of her shirts. If each store receives the same number of shirts in the first shipment, how many shirts will each store receive? So then this says use some compatible numbers to help you estimate. All right. Now, again, this is whatever makes sense for you to do. So you're going to round it. It's just saying what could you estimate in your mind to help you round this in your head to get a good idea. So 1,200 is already a pretty reasonable number. 38, I can round to 40, and I think 40 because I think my 4s, 4, 8, 12. I can count by 4s and get to 12, so I'm going to use that for this. So if I have 1,200 divided by 40, that's going to give me 30, because I know 30 times 40 is 1,200. So I know 1,200 divided by 40 must be 30. Okay, so again, my answer is going to be somewhere near 30. Okay, so let's go ahead and work that out, because remember, we had 1,200 shirts, and we're dividing that by these 38 stores that we see here in the picture. So that's where that 38 is coming from, because every store is going to get the same amount of shirts. Okay? Alright, so this one's a little different because I have 38, and first I'm going to see, can 38 go into 12? 38 is larger than 12. So I'm going to have to think, and I just try to ignore the comma here, and I'm just going to look at 120, because 38 was larger than 12. I'm going to say 120, okay? Again, I don't know my 38s, but I can round it to 40, 40, 80, 120. So I'm thinking 38 times 3, so I'm going to stick that up here. I'm going to work that out. I get 24. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. That gives me 114. I know that's as close as I'm going to get without going over. 38 will go into 123 times. So do you see that I put my 3 over that first 0 to represent it going into 120? 3 times 38 is 114. We're going to subtract. I know that's 6. I know 14 plus 6 is going to give me that 20. After I subtract, I bring it on down, bring it on back. Okay, 38 is almost 40. If I have 40 2 times, that's going to be bigger than 60. So 38 will go into 60 only once. And we know 1 times 38 is 38. Okay? We're going to subtract. We'll get 22. Seems like a big remainder, but it is less than what we have here in our divisor. So don't have as much room right here, but it says how many shirts will each store have? Each store will have 31 shirts, but there will be 22 left over. Okay, so every store is not going to get 31 remainder 22. That wouldn't make sense. It means equally they all get 31. I have 22 shirts that I just couldn't put somewhere equally. Okay, let's look at number 1 down here. A museum director wants to display 609 objects in 21 rooms, so each room has the same number. Write a division problem to represent, estimate, then find. Okay, so if I have 609 objects and I want to display them in 21 rooms, I am dividing them among 21 rooms. I want to know how many each room is going to have. Okay, and they're going to have an equal amount. So if I have a remainder, I know that that's not really what they're looking for here. I want to know exactly how many each room will get. So over here, I'm going to rewrite my problem. 609 divided by 21. Again, I'm going to think by 21 is close to 20. 20, 40, 60. But this is 21. So 21, 42, 63. So it's not going to be able to go in there 3 times. It's only going to be able to go 2 times. And I can prove it right here. 21 times 2 is 42. 21 times 3 is 63. It's just a little bit too big. So it goes in there 2 times, which is 42. And that's going to give you that 18. Bring it on down. Don't forget after you subtract to bring down. Even if it's a large number, that's okay. So now I'm going to predict 21 and 189. Alright, well, if I round to 20 and I count by 2's, I know 2 times 9 is 18. So let's try 21 times 9. I'm going to just scoot right over here. 21 times 9. That gives me exactly 189. 21 times 9. So it went in there 9 times. That's exactly 189. And so every room is going to get exactly 29. In this case, there was no remainder. It did divide equally. But if there was a remainder 3, then the answer would still be 29 because that's how many could equally be put in those groups. All right, you've got some more problems that you can try in your book. I'm not assigning you any homework today, but we will continue working on division next week.